a lot of background noise going on. I'm having trouble hearing.
Yeah, me too. I don't know.
We're out in the country. It's probably I think it's all the peepers and the frogs. Let me move inside.
Talking somewhere.
Yeah, it sounds like people are
Moan
talking
back here.
Oh, is it Moan?
Yeah, that's Moan talking to somebody in the building.
Oh, was it like echoing or something?
Yeah, his ass be
Yeah.
What were you saying, Andrew? I couldn't quite make out what you were saying.
So, and we can edit this part as well if we need to. My point of these is to
come outside?
sort of mirror what we do at a tournament where we gather around and we just talk. And I don't ever want to censor anybody or anything. I just kind of wanted to bring up the elephant in the room to give anybody a platform to say anything they want to say. I have no opinion because I wasn't there, but I didn't want anybody to feel like it was something that they were not allowed to talk about or anything, because I know it has been a big part of what's been going on in the community for the past week or so. And as I said, this part, well, any of these parts can be edited. I generally don't edit except for the awkward spaces and stuff out of the dialogue. But if anybody says something that they don't necessarily want posted, I can always edit. So with that said, I just wanted to open it up to anybody who
is that better?
They want to talk about.
I just couldn't. I went too far.
Well, go ahead, Smo, because I know you've talked to several people. I've talked to several people, and I think it's something that does need to be talked about, but nobody wants to talk about it publicly for
exactly.
I mean, this is a tough situation for me specifically because I had the people that came forward came to me with that information. So I think that, you know, what I'll say is the community showed their true colors, that it doesn't matter what people thought of you before. It really does matter what you're doing right now. And I know all these people in here and people in the community in general are going to be as forgiving as they can be. And so when you get into a position where they are not going to do that, it says something.
Yeah. I mean,
well put.
I think coming out of it, we'll have, at least for like a big tournament like that, wouldn't you say that there will be, you know, work done to make sure that it's accountable and transparent and all of that? So, you know, everything is focusing on.
Well, the easiest way for that to be that way is just don't cheat. It's pretty simple.
Just don't cheat. Yeah, it exposes what happens to people who cheat.
Now, the issue here is that because people in the public sentimentality is so deep, right? And because most people are like really easy to forgive, I really feel like if he would have just said, hey, you know, I just want to be honest with everybody, and I had, you know, like a serious ego trip, and, you know, I thought that my intentions there would have boosted my company and boosted, you know, our fame as a team, and I made a mistake, and I'm just sorry and been contrite and showed some remorse and apologetic. Do you know how many people would have ended this like 10 days ago? Would have, I mean, not 10 days ago, but you know what I'm saying? Like, if it came out that day and said, hey, I'm sorry. And, you know, I let all this stuff get the best of me. And I just want to make sure that, you know, this is never going to be my identity. It's a mistake I made, and we move on. And I would have, I mean, I feel like
moving on. We're moving on.
Oh no, the Slingshot community will endure regardless of what happens.
We're going to keep having fun.
The Slingshot community will endure. They will endure regardless of what happens here. Yeah. This is just a bad situation that happened. Let's just forget about it. We don't have to do that. Individual removed himself, so we don't have to worry about this anymore, right?
Right.
Yeah, and you know, and all the positive that come from that thing, man. I mean, I was still, even after this stuff, because I realized that either sooner or later something was going to happen. You know, something was going to happen.
Well, it's just getting really big, and so even what
aren't we growing though? We're growing together. We're growing 30% man.
Every year.
We're growing so fast.
Very exciting.
The sport of slingshots is.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh no, an
Okay.
ECST, an East
No,
Coast
no,
Slingshot.
no, no,
Okay.
no,
Well, I didn't know where you.
It's back
Total.
Slingshots is absolutely great.
100%.
Right.
I don't have the stat on that.
Well, that's what I was wondering. Where
Is there
you
any
get
way
that
to track
stat?
that?
No, I wish
Jordan?
there was. Yeah.
We could try.
I mean, I don't think that's
it would
hard
be
to
fun.
track if you just look at the amount of new shooters that we have.
Yeah.
Here's the big thing. Like this thing hasn't really happened before, but similar situations have happened where there's been someone who comes in and into the community, and the community is accepting. We want to give people the benefit of the doubt, and then an individual does something that sort of cuts against the grain of the community, and what happens is that we just weed them out. They weed themselves out.
Yeah.
And eventually, it doesn't matter what you're doing; you're going to show your true colors. This particular community is just full of people whose true colors are phenomenal. And in that case, it just doesn't take much for everybody to kind of just weed those people out. It's happened before; it'll happen again. I'd like to, look at this as a situation where we can look, we can see leaders emerging in the community. We can see the people who are steadfast. We can see people who won't stand for the shadiness that goes on. You see it a lot, and people who you wouldn't necessarily expect are coming out as believers in integrity. So I think it was a good thing that it happened, and I think that going forward, the people who showed that integrity are going to be rewarded by the rest of the community as welcome members, and the people who stepped up into the appropriate leadership positions. It's not really surprising who those people were, so it just became more apparent who they were. That's all.
Yeah. Well, go ahead, Dave.
Well, I just going to say, some of that is, it only being my second tournament period, but still have a lot of camaraderie going on, at Joe Stokes, or whether it be doing this now or whatever, is, like you said, that it didn't surprise you from that group or whatever. You could tell because they were, if anybody's going to do it, it's going to be the ones that's off to themselves, and they don't commingle with anybody else. And it's kind of like, it was kind of odd to see that out of them,
Yeah, that was weird.
It's the whole situation with the way they acted was just like, yeah, and then when you find out, what had happened, it's like, yeah, I could see that, I don't know. And some of the people in that group are good friends of mine. And of course,
great people.
that they've been awoken, so
it's hard, and they're sad, y'all. The thing is, they're almost, they're sad, and so we just lift
there's a
them
bunch
up,
of people hurt by this, dude.
Yeah.
When they told me about it, I was like, man, you better tell me you're lying, dude. I was like, please say you're lying. Please tell me you're lying. I was in tears. I was like, don't bring that element to our sport. Please don't do that.
Well,
we're having way too much fun to be that element added,
you talk
about. I put too much into
we
this.
get to have a difficult conversation about
I'm a full timer,
and like we're not going to.
I'm a full timer, man. This is my entire life. And, right? This is my entire life. I'm a full timer, and Jordan, and the same way. And but I don't have a job, man. This is my this is my life and my whole thing. And to see somebody do this to that, it's like, man, you did not.
The other thing that's kind of off-putting for me.
Come on.
The other thing that's kind of off-putting for me was to see one of the group try to put the blame back on the ECST for not having official.
Yeah, that was
bullshit.
Don't defend liars. Don't defend liars. Don't defend charlatans.
I'll tell you this. Will did a hell of a job.
Oh, he did a great.
Will did a great job. There you go. Will did
yes,
exactly.
I was not there. sure Will did a good job because
And in no way or fault is this his fault or issue.
No.
You know what I mean?
but I will go on record saying this. I wasn't there, so I don't, I have an opinion on the whole situation, but I don't have any firsthand knowledge, so I'll just keep my mouth shut on that. But I do personally think that the money that's going towards first place and second, or first, second, and third place would be better spent if we're going to spend that, spending some judges to go around with people. That's just my opinion. I'm not a fan of money as a prize.
This has nothing to do with judges, man.
Well,
like Andrew,
But it will be.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just want.
I'm not even saying
because,
that there needs to be judges. My point more is I'm not a fan of cash.
no, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with being judges.
Crazy about the money.
But as soon as I
Yeah,
hear the
I know what
aspect of
you're
money
saying,
being
Andrew.
involved, because
that's
I've been in
not-
golf for so long, as soon as you introduce money, they're introduced
Yep.
an element you don't want to admit that there's there. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's
Like, there's
kind
a
of what
thing
Andrew
there
say
that you
is,
don't want to admit that there's there, but
it
I
just
mean,
muddies it a little bit.
yeah, I mean, but when it's all fun, like,
what people want.
man, we're on the line, and I'm swearing that, Will and Jordan, as them in my competitive round, which is my favorite, and they're both like, look at that booty on them. They're like, like I can hear like they're cat calling me, they're whistling me, and I'm in my competitive round. I'm laughing because I can't help it. Like, that's what it's about, man. Like, it should be fun, man. If I'm on the other side, all the RVA crew, you know what they're doing? They're going, miss. They're like literally, right, like, if you shoot the 80, we'll boo you. We'll boo you in front of everyone. But I mean, it should be fun.
But it's
It should be
100% honest.
so fun, man. Like,
That would never.
don't take that element out of
No,
our
and my
game.
point
It's
wasn't
just-
that there needs to be judges. My point was that I'd rather see the money go away. I don't think the money needs to be part of the prize.
Right,
But
absolutely.
if you're going to spend that money, spend it on a judge so that this doesn't happen.
yeah.
right. But I mean, we're
But
also
you get a judge in there,
but
you
see,
can
Andrew,
still be
we're
a
also
judge
trying
can
to
still be
raise
bought.
funds. We're also trying to raise funds for to make more improvements. You know what I mean? So I understand where the direction came from.
Go there. That's just
I understand. But my issue was that if you do that, then you gotta be careful. You know what I mean? And so no one expected kind of one of the pillars, one of the influencers, one of the people to ever even this could be even considered. Okay.
There you go.
That'd be like myself or Nathan Masters or Jordan or people who actually, I'm not talking about we're like this and this and that, but our contributions to it to keep Slingshots growing, I think is pretty evident. Okay, I think that what we're doing to grow Slingshots is pretty evident. And if one of us influencers would have done that, it would literally we'd be nailed on the cross. And the reason why is because integrity is everything in this. You're by yourself.
Yep.
No one's integrity has ever been questioned. I'm sure it's been questioned, but not to the point we won the tournament. I mean,
And we
I'm
all
sure
know
people
who
be
was
like,
the first ones have a big live telling everybody that you cheated, and it would have been that group.
I mean, that's a big issue here.
Well,
Dave, that's like
and
a
what
real
are the
issue.
scores? Like, what really were your scores last year? Because
Right.
I mean, it does introduce that sense of doubt, and so
Let's get this clear also, man. I can say no one's hurt by this more than me, but I'm like kind of romantic in all this, and I really felt like this would never be a thing. Like if you beat me out of round of darts, I beat you next time. You're a bastard, and I'll get you next time. Like they'll never be to the point like that kind of thing. I used to call Jordan, and this is an honest thing. You can ask Jordan. I called Jordan. The first thing I'd say is, Jordan, there can be only one. Jordan would run downstairs to his catch box, and Jordan and I would shoot on a 40mm target. Okay, this is years ago, Jordan, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like literally, I would say there could be only one, and he'd be like, "Give me a second." Go downstairs, go to his catch box, and him and I would battle on the catch box. And I thought it was so great. You know what I mean? It was like, man, this guy's so into slingshots like me. Like I can't get enough of this stuff. He like, let me go leave my kids. I got 3 kids. Hold tight. I'm gonna go downstairs. Yeah, Jordan, I love it. So much. You're in the basement, dude. It was so awesome. It was so awesome. But that love for the game is like, you got, it's like, I kept saying like you tainted it, but nah, it's just human nature for people to be that way. And he was just him, and so let's just move on, right? Let's do something else.
Yeah, I want to make a distinction too here because Dave was saying like that group of people. This is on one guy, really. This is on one person. most of those people were just as blindsided as everyone else was. And most of
no
those
doubt.
people were even more hurt because they put all of the trust and faith that they had in the sport and in the community into a guy who just betrayed them. There might be still some people making excuses, and that is what it is. But
That's fine.
I just
They're
want to
just
be
trying to
clear
make
that
sense of it.
most of those people are just as hurt and confused as we are, and I want to be very, very clear that they're the ones who came forward. Like
Correct.
his group, that group of
No
people
doubt.
are the
No
ones who
doubt.
came
No
out
doubt.
saying this is happening, and if it weren't for them, we might not know. So, you know, it is what it is, and it happened. That's not a lie. That's just the truth of the matter. But it hurts, man. It really does. Like Moan was saying, tears in his eyes, and I felt the same way.
Sucks,
I
man.
was hurt by people who saw it, heard it, and didn't want to do anything, didn't want to say something, and I was hurt by the people out there who are just turning their backs on everyone. One of those guys
Constituents.
messaged me. One of those guys messaged me, and they were like, "How do I show up to Hocking Hills now? Like, how do I show up there with my kids?" And I told them, like,
No,
dude, this isn't on you. Like, this
no.
is one
Love you.
person who made a bad decision. Like, if you show up, I will shoot with you. I will chill with you. I will crack a beer with you. Like that. That's just
100%.
how I'm gonna be. So that's the big message I want to go. I want to spread going forward is no matter how hurt we all feel by this, there's people that were much closer to it that are probably hurting a lot more, and they need the support too.
Absolutely. And you talked about hurting, and we were gone on vacation the week before East Coast happened. And as I think I've told most of you, my plan was still to come up until the last minute, but I got a really bad head cold on the way home, and there's no way I could have been there. But being gone for a week and then being in bed for a week, I was pretty out of touch with the whole community. Well, everything really. And when I kind of got back online and saw what was going on, I felt almost like the community was in a sense of grief. And those people that you talked about that were part of that team. And I wanted to say my plan was to have one of these roundtables after the tournament anyway, whether I went or not, because I wanted to hear everything that happened. And after this all happened, I almost didn't do one for a little while because it's such a raw time right now for everybody, and I didn't want to look like I was trying to capitalize off of it or make content off of it. But I was going to make this content anyway, and as I said, I wasn't there, so I don't have any firsthand knowledge. I have an opinion like everybody else, but that's all it is, not witnessing anything with my own eyes. But I felt like also being somebody who wants to do this and give the community a place to speak and to talk about current events going on and stuff, it would almost been kind of chickening out for me to not go ahead and provide that space. So that's why I brought it up. That's not why I wanted to do the roundtable tonight. I wanted to hear all the cool stuff that was going on and everything that happened at the tournament as well. But I did want to give you guys the chance to talk about whatever was on your mind, including that. So I thank all of you for opening up the way you have. I'm probably going to release this as 2 videos because it's went so long now. And I'll probably make the first one where we were talking about everything else up until this point, and then make this as a second video. And if everybody's okay with it, I'm going to just release it as it is. I'm going to clean up some of the gaps where there's maybe an awkward pause from Zoom or something. But I'll take anything out anybody wants because I'm not trying to put anything on.
It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to talk about it. And
I don't feel
it's not,
but I'm just trying to make
that's
clear,
how, I don't think an honest conversation is like bad. And then I kept hearing the comments about like, wow, man, if the Slingshot community is going to continue spewing hate, then I don't want to be a part of it. And I'm thinking, well, I mean, if you want to sit up there and defend someone who's dishonest, then that's fine too. Then we don't really need that in our community. If you think that
No.
that's okay to like defend dishonesty and defend, you know, that,
Absolutely.
then that's fine too.
And my whole
Like, then
thing is, if he
that's fine.
really
That's
thought
fine
he
by
was
me.
having a medical emergency, if he'd have left and went to the hospital, when he got back, they'd left him probably make up what he missed.
Brother,
Could have gone
every
back after
single
the hospital
person,
and given
Leon,
the trophy
every
back,
single
too,
person
you know.
who stands on that line feels like they're having a medical emergency.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Right.
and it's
But
okay.
you know what I'm
And it's
saying.
okay. Here's 100% honesty. Okay, step up to that line, ready to win the knockdowns, the great things. Okay, my first shot during the knockdowns, I fork hit and hit a moose in the corner. My next shot hits the door. Okay, I had done 2 interviews there, but I was set up to win this thing, no question. All right, you know what? We laughed. We laughed, but we had to.
What can you
Yeah.
do?
What can you do, man? Just laugh it off. And, hey, I'll get you next time, brother. Like I got so much more joy off that memorable moment than I would if I had even like been on the podium. You know, it's like it shouldn't be about anything like that. And it's crazy that this element happened, man, but it's not us. You know, and we'll move on. You know, like it's okay.
Right.
You know what? We
The
can,
community.
like I
is
said, Andrew, you can
wonderful.
release a video, do whatever you want to do. I don't think anybody said anything that they're not proud of saying, to be
No,
honest.
I don't either. That's a
Doesn't bother
statement.
me.
I don't
You
think it's
guys
that
haven't been
situation. I
on.
think these are things that I would stand by. I would stand by to this day. And if anybody questioned me to this day, I would still say, like I told Dave and several people earlier, is that without leaving like Nixon and just, you know, without any explanation and just an exit and like, hey, peace, guess what? I'm out of here and this guy's gonna take over and it's all good. I'm out. Without like purposely leaving us all kind of in turmoil, kind of like hurt a bit because I think to fix this would have been this easy. Hey, bud, I'm sorry. You know, real contrite, and, you know, be honest and tell a real story and say, I'm going to teach programs about ethics and I'm going to donate all the slingshots I can to 4-H programs and Boy Scouts and everything else I can to help our community become better. And I hope you guys will accept me back. I think that would have been a very, very easy thing to do. You know what I mean? Because an honest person would do that. It's okay to mess up. Just fess up to it and we could have moved on, you know, without leaving all this conjecture and all this random stuff out there, you know, as far as people, what happened and this and this and that. And like, man, you could have cleared this up the day after it happened. You know, like the day after that, you could like literally the day after it happened, like met it head on, cleared it up, and it you know, it fell on the sword and just said, I'm sorry. And, you know, hopefully in a few years, guys will be able to accept me back. This is not my identity. It's a mistake I made, you know, but that was above him, you know, like,
But, you know, I feel like this
below him.
community, I feel like this community is loving and
We'll heal.
forgiving enough though that's not,
We're
that's still not
healing.
too
It's
late.
great.
I feel like, you know, though somebody mentioned who people saying how am I supposed to show up at Hocking Hill? I think even if the person we're talking about showed up at Hocking Hill, I think most of us would extend a hand and shoot with them and forgive it because
sentimentality is real because we believe in it, man. You know, like literally, like if you had this influence, if slingshots were our identity, if I woke up every single day, like me, right, that it was my whole life, and anybody out there in the community, how would you leave?
How would you leave it?
Andrew, how would you leave? Because
Wow.
like when I wake up, I see I see a slingshot, I'm like, man, you know, I want to help grow slingshots. Like, you know, like for me, I'm like, what am I going to do next Sunday to get more people here? I'm not charging; it's free.
right.
Okay.
And
Like,
that,
how am I going to get more people here to do what we do? How am I going
that
to grow
makes
slingshots?
me,
And he did this every day. So I don't think it's any doubt in anyone's mind that this guy is still second guessing it. Okay. And let's just hope out there that, hey, man, he can fix this. But you can
Yeah.
fix this, man. You know
and
you
that's,
can.
you know, you talked about being this plugged
Romantic.
into the community and then
Right, the romantic.
all of a sudden,
Exactly.
that because of what this community has done for me, that makes me sad for him because this community has become a part of who I am. And so I hate
Don't
to see
humanize him.
anybody, I hate to
Don't
see anybody
humanize him in
unplug.
this. But understand his influence was there. And because every day he woke up and slingshots were sling, that's the reason I'm saying that you can fix this, brother.
Yeah.
You know you can fix this.
Yep.
You can.
Well, I am going to have to start wrapping this up because
Man, I'm over here burning shrimp.
Huh? You burning shrimp?
I'm over here burning shrimp and crab cakes, damn it. Let Lori talk to you. I love y'all.
But I wanted to
That's
give
it.
anybody a chance if there's anything else, even not related to what we've been talking about. If there's anything else anybody wants to end on, I wanted to give you an opportunity.
Well, I made a comment on a post there the other day that truly is the way I feel. That's doesn't have nothing to do with what happened there at the ECST, but then it does, because I'm never going to win a tournament. I said it. I think you saw it. You liked it. Never going to win a tournament. Every time I leave there, what I have won is friendship and more family, adding more people to my family.
Yeah.
And that is why I go to the tournaments. That's why I can't wait to go to Hawken Hills.
I'm excited about that.
So for whoever says, how do I go to Hawken Hills and how can I show up there after all this? Bring your slingshot. That's how you show up. Come on, bring it on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bring your slingshot.
Absolutely.
I agree. There's I think slingshot's a good metaphor for life in a number of ways, because it's like a physical manifestation of a thought, right? When I have a thought and I speak my thought, it flies into somebody else's ears. And slingshots is sort of the same way. You gotta take a few steps back before you really can move forward. And so this is a situation where maybe the community on the whole had to take a step back for a second, but we're going to move forward again. Once we let go of it, it's going to fly forward. We're going to move forward just like the ammo in your slingshot. So the metaphor's built into it, man. That's where I want.
All we can do is move forward from here.
Yeah, exactly. We went backwards as far as it can go. So
I feel like this is a growing pain as well. If we weren't growing, we wouldn't be having growing pains. So
yes. Right. So our numbers are growing. I know Lee, one of the guys in our community, he doesn't get with us very often. Zimmerman.
Yeah.
Y'all probably have seen his posts. So he's creating a group of Virginia state Virginia slingshots and catapults, and going to create it as a nonprofit and try to foster more communities throughout our state. It was like, if I can grow it, then there could be a little club over here, and just the kind of idea of being able then clubs can compete. What would be really fun, I love what Joe Stokes is doing, and I wish one day it's even further. So it's like a 12-hour drive, I think, or 11 hours, 10. It's a long ways for us.
Well, we brought up the idea. I think, Dave, didn't we talk about it up there?
Oh, yeah.
A bunch of us getting a van. And
one of these days, we're going to rent a van. And about 2 hours out, we're going to call and say, hey, get your ass to the grocery store.
Oh my God, it'd be great. We could totally do teams. We could do the teams on the tower. We could do the tic-tac.
All are welcome.
Record our scores. It would be so
old people like Dave, young people,
old people like Dave.
Yeah.
Are you?
I'm a senior citizen.
Are y'all close?
I'm 60, so
we can have a senior shoot.
Are you 60, Dave? I didn't think he's that much older than me.
Yo, Dave, she went too far. She went too far.
I just turned 60 back in March.
I'm 52. Just turned 52 in May.
Yeah. So I'm knocking on retirement door. This is my salvation for not getting any fatter and sitting at home and dying when I retire, because I'm looking forward to retiring soon.
Get out in there.
I'll be out there making slingshots instead. So.
Lori had to take your real estate call. I'm chopping carrots and beets.
So I think I am going to have to call
if I said anything Andrew, if I said anything too offensive, just let me know. But I'll still own it. Okay?
What I wanted to say a minute ago was I give everybody that acknowledgement, admonishment, whatever, whenever they come on here, that I'm going to just post whatever is said unless somebody tells me to.
I don't think anybody said anything that's out of character.
No. But I always like to give everybody that, not just for this scenario, but just for anything, because sometimes.
No, I mean, if I curse or anything.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't care about that.
We're all adults. Have you heard today's
talk? Yeah, man. If I was cursing.
Well,
I'm not hosting us, Andrew.
100% my word.
What was that, Jordan?
I said thanks for hosting us.
Oh,
thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
I don't know. I guess Moan dropped off. I think he was losing signal, but I didn't kick him off. I promise.
I'm gonna tell him different.
But I want to get back into doing these more frequently. I've missed them, and now that I've kind of gotten back in the role of actually getting outside and making some outside content, I do miss these because I feel like I lose touch with people. Jordan, you were included on that. Pheromones back. Jordan, you were included on that chat group that I post these in, but I don't know if you get the messages or not. So
Yeah, I see them. I don't respond to a whole bunch unless I feel like there's something I need to say. But if you have another one of these, I'm happy to hop on.
Yeah, well, it's been a lot of fun. Dave, you're welcome. Now that you know how to do it, or now that I know you know how to do it, there's no what is going on over there?
Making fun of my age again.
Leon, thank you for joining us again.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Hey, speaking of,
Seeing y'all again.
I didn't open this. I was gonna open this tonight. It's the package from Dave. I didn't get that video made today, but I'm gonna do it tomorrow. So just a teaser here. There is a new design coming out from Liberty Slings. I have the first one right here. So I will be releasing that or recording it tomorrow and hopefully releasing it too.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and wrap.
Can't wait to see it.
I think they're he's back again. Must be losing signal and stuff.
It made a couple rounds at ECST, Andrew. So that sling's been handled a little bit. But
has it? Okay.
Yeah,
well, that's cool. Broken in then.
Actually, there was what's his Weston? He shot it.
Weston. Oh, I got one shot by the champ.
Yeah. And Hunter James shot it.
Excellent. Rounds get Hunter on here sometime too.
Yeah. So,
all right, gentlemen. Well, I will put out a message, and we'll maybe do these later this week or early next week if everyone.
We're back.
Thanks, Andrew.
All right.
You're welcome. We're jumping out.
Thank you.
See you guys.
See ya.
Have a good night.